motivate them. And we feel so honored that you have accepted our invitation to address the children specially on this occasion. I would like to pay my sincere thanks first of all to Ms. Helen Harper, Director of St. James School Sanskrit School, and Ms. Helen Harper is really contributing a lot to the students while teaching Sanskrit and other subjects as well.
Yes, Mr. Jessup, who's now present, he is the head of the Sanskrit department. Actually,
Okay.
I'm retired.
Welcome you, sir. Thank you very much to
Hello.
join us today.
It's lovely to see you.
Yes, we would be very soon. Our director, Mr. Amish Tripathi, would be joining us, and Mr. Amish Tripathi is the director of the Nehru Center, Minister Culture in the High Commission of India. He would also, join us and could brief about Yoga Day and about this special session. But
Lovely. Thank
we
you.
are going to leave this entire platform to Professor M.K. Sridhar, who has, given this special time to us to address the children. So with these words, may I now would like to request if Mr. Tripathi joined us to say a few words on this occasion. Sir, are you hearing me?
Yeah,
Yes,
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Namaste, namaste to each one of you, to all the participants and the viewers of London, UK, and also to Brij Kumar Guhareji, the Deputy Director, and also to Sri Amish Tripathi ji, the Director of the Nehru Center, London, as well as to the staff of the Nehru Center and all the participants and the viewers. On behalf of S. Vyasa Yoga University, the team university, we offer our grateful thanks to each one of you for having organized this program on the eve of the International Day of Yoga, the 6th International Day of Yoga, which is going to be celebrated the world over this time, most of it through Zoom conferences, through webinar, and many things. However, the Deputy Director, Brij Kumar Guhareji, has told that it is specially meant for children. So let us work in a direction as they are the future of the nation and the future of the world. So we should concentrate as to how they would like to spend their time during this pandemic, COVID pandemic. Actually, all of us are aware that, the COVID pandemic, has...
I can't see my photo. Is something wrong with their system? Or?
It raised its ugly
right.
head in Wuhan, China, around November 2019.
Okay.
However, it has taken a heavy toll, irrespective of nation, race, gender, and age barrier. We are shocked to read the current statistics, especially of those who are infected the world over. For example, the United States, 2.2 million. Brazil, 900,000. Russia, 550,000. India, 360,000. UK, 299,000. But the countries all over the world are making Herculean tasks to contain this pandemic. Lockdowns, confinement, or the order of the day. This has resulted in frustration, boredom, anxiety, stress among people all over the world of all ages. However, even with this fall of gloom, there is a ray of hope, isn't it? And can you also share the screen so that I can show some of the slides here and there? Some of the slides.
Professor M.K. Sridhar,
Yes,
I would
please.
like to interrupt you in between.
Please.
You definitely you are going to deliver extensive talk on this issue today for the children. But before that, I would like to earnestly request Mr. Amish Tripathi, Director
Please.
of the Nehru Center, to say a few words on this occasion.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Tripathi, please.
Amish
I
ji,
no, no,
please.
I don't want to introduce Sridhar ji. I don't want to interfere with Sridhar ji's thing too much. Sridhar ji, thank you so much for what you're doing for the children out here. We are proud and honored that the Nehru Center is able to host this. Thank you so much, St. James School, and for all that you're doing for our culture and for Sanskrit. I will not take too much time. It's just a delight and an honor that the Nehru Center can host a program like this. Yoga is something that is wonderful for every human being who tries it. And if these good habits be taught at a young age to children, it will be so much the better. So that's all. I'll not take too much time. Thank you, Bridge. Ji, you please carry on with your program.
Thank you, Amish.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your kind words on this occasion. Now may I request Professor M.K. Sridhar to begin the session with this talk. Yeah, please continue, sir.
Share the slides. Can you please allow?
Can you please allow so that we can share some of the slides here and there, which I prepared exclusively for this talk, for this session? Yeah, the host has to allow the sharing of screen for showing some of the slides of the PPTs.
Sure, sir, sure. How you are going to display this?
This, yes, sir.
We want to share the screen.
Yeah,
You want-
Sridhar ji, all you this is Amish Tripathi here, director. All you have to do is go down to the bottom of your computer,
Yes,
hover your screen out there, you will find a share screen icon.
yes, sir.
We have
Yes,
allowed you already.
Yes.
yes.
It'll be in a green color out there. Just click on
Yes.
that share screen icon. That's it. And your screen will be shared.
Yeah. It says the host is disable participant screen sharing.
Yeah, just go down to share. Just go down. Even I can see it. Share screen.
Yeah. Share screen, we have clicked on that. My
Yeah.
colleague,
Sandeep,
Dr.
can you control it?
Here with me.
Sandeep, just allow the share screen.
Yeah.
Yoga is not there. Just talking now. You put your slides to virtual person.
Host has to allow us.
The host has to allow us in the screen. It's not showing. Okay, now it has come.
Sir, the technical support person is saying he has allowed you to share the
Now we got it, sir.
site.
We got it.
Now you can. Yeah, please.
Yeah, we got it right now.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So we are discussing as to how much this COVID-19 has affected people all over the world, irrespective of nation, race, gender, and age barriers. I just have the latest statistics that USA has 2.2 million, Brazil 900,000, Russia 550,000, India 360,000, UK 299,000. Please see, among the democratic nations of the world, the USA, Brazil, India, UK are all more affected. So what should we do? Of course, the countries are making Herculean tasks to contain this pandemic. Lockdowns in India, confinements all over the world are the order of the day. But resulted in, because we are stuck to our homes, young and old, you know, the young lad and lass, boys and girls. So it has resulted in frustrations, boredom, anxiety and stress among people all over the world. This never happened except in the times of the World War I and World War II, you know. But even amidst this fall of gloom, there is a ray of hope. So the people all over the world have used this time to stay back at home, to engage in proactive activities. As I interact with you guys from London, I feel there is a diverse age group of people here. So it amounts to all of us are engaged in these activities. So they are changing their habits and build most important, wonderful family ties, nurture and practice values, you know, the everlasting values, understand deeper dimensions of our own life, our mind, most important, social life, to get connected with social life, practice yoga and meditation and many more. So this is what our Honorable Chancellor of the S. Vyasa Yoga University, who was a yoga scientist in NASA, renounced everything, came back and established the S. Vyasa Yoga University to the hall, and he makes a fervent appeal for all of us to stay connected, to stay united as a family, as members of the family, for which he developed what you call it as special global prayers. So that we have already incorporated through our Facebook, and people, more than lakhs and lakhs and thousands of people have participated all over the world in these special global prayers, irrespective of religion, which gives us health and it develops the immunity. It develops our inward immunity strength. And there was, COVID-19 began, there was an initial Indian survey which was done by us and by other organizations that has revealed to us that yoga practitioners, as you and me, have less probability of getting
Not doing any yoga actually.
than non-practitioners. So, practice of yoga helps us in enhancing all our immune system. In fact, Dr. R. Nagaratna, who did her, MRCP from London in general medicine almost 4 decades ago, she happens to be our chief medical director and officer. She says, her immunity developed by body becomes normal. In hastening its process, universal collective consciousness helps in allaying fear and anxieties. We are affected by fear and anxieties. You please remember what William Faulkner, the American Nobel laureate, at the time of receiving the Nobel Prize on October 10, 1950 said, the whole world is surrounded by fear. The fear within and the fear outside. That this fear is engulfed everywhere. But to get rid of the fear. This was the message of William Faulkner. And the same thing has happened after 69 years. It appears that we are affected by fear. This fear we should get rid of. How can we do so? By strengthening our immune system, by staying together, united as members of the family, as inmates of the family. It is possible to drive away this pandemic. It is possible because as human beings, we are successful in driving away the previous such epidemics and pandemics like the scarlet fever, like the bubonic plague, like the influenza. It visits the world every 100 years, but we were successful in driving these sinister designs, and we rose successfully like the phoenix rising out of the ashes. It happens. It is possible. And scientists all over the world, as I read, 18 organizations the world over are engaged in, coming out with various types of vaccines. And perhaps the first vaccine would be out by August or September, and that will be the panacea for us. So, in this regard, I remember what Bill Gates said, the founder of the Microsoft, has given this message during this COVID pandemic. He said, COVID-19 virus has taught us to look after each other, to protect each other, and to be benefit to one another. It is reminding that after every difficulty, there is always ease. Life is cyclical in nature. That is what we have learned. And this is just a phase in this great cycle. We do not need to panic. This too shall pass. It will pass, and let us get united. In this regard, we have to develop our, strength. We get a lot of information from our ancient Hindu wisdom. The Patanjali Yoga aphorism, which is one of the oldest, says, what should we do? Expand yourself. Live in total harmony with nature, with the entire society and the environment in which we live. So we have to practice some postures, breathing exercises, engage in meditation. These have shown benefits that it is possible for us to connect the body, mind, and the spirit and the soul. So what as children can do? Let us practice some simple postures. By sitting, you can do some postures. Sit down comfortably, relax comfortably, and then take some deep breath. Close your eyes, observe your mind, slowly inhale and slowly exhale. Close your eyes, sit back in wherever you are. Just observe your monkey mind for 30 seconds or 15 seconds. Observe your mind, slowly inhale and slowly exhale. Do it 3 times. Observe how the silence is present within you and the silence present all over your environment. And when the whole family sits and does this, there is what you call it as the collective consciousness, and the collective breathing helps you to regulate. A lot of experiments have been done all over the world. This breathing, for just do it for 10 minutes, maximum 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day. Choose your own time, either in the morning or in the afternoon before lunch or in the evening before supper. This regulates your body mechanism. Because I see some highly distinguished elders and senior citizens, so I tell this, it helps us in the total metabolism of the nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis of the brain gets completely controlled and it will be in balance. It regulates your body mechanism and it enhances your brain functions. At S. Vyasa Yoga University, we have developed a new type of breathing exercise called Bhramari. Bhramari means the bumblebee. Just as a bee makes the sound, we go on making the sound by closing our ears, and we close our eyes and make a humming sound. I will demonstrate for 30 seconds. Close our eyes. Please close your eyes. Put your fingers, the index finger into your ears. Inhale and exhale slowly. Observe your mind. Observe how it activates your brain. It is so calm and quiet. This can be done for 5 minutes a day, at least twice or thrice a day. It has been experimented and documented by doing this Brahmari anywhere in a single place can enhance your memory and creative inputs. It enhances your memory. It enhances your creative energy. So this is what is developed by us. Then it enhances your mental health. A module or a capsule of 5 or 8 minutes of pranayama or breathing exercise, 2 to 5 minutes of Brahmari will enhance your physical energies, will enhance your creative energy. So let us practice that sometime. Okay? Now, over a period of 20 years, researches have been done all over the world, my dear UK children. Yoga practice has proved to improve the quality of life. It drives away our depression. It increases, for the elderly people I'm telling, it increases the plasma of oxytocin levels and reduces our acute stress and anxiety. The anxiety which is a result of the COVID pandemic, as we are forced to stay in homes. Of course, with this broad background, as told by our Brij Kumar Gohareji and Amish Tripathi ji, that the UK children are expecting something here, so I would like to concentrate upon our young children in UK. Okay, my dear children, I'm asking you this question. Whom do you like most? Your parents, father or mother? Your parents, I'm asking you. Your brothers? Your sisters? Your cousins? Your friends? Your teachers? Your favorite Hollywood actors or actresses? Or Bollywood actors or actresses? Of course, something is coming in your mind. Am I right, children? No, none of the above, but your own self. You love yourself much. So, more than loving others, we love ourselves. Hence, time has come. You have to understand your own self, my dear kids. Who am I? So slowly understand and know your strength. What is your strength? Being born as a young boy or a girl, nurtured by your parents, they have shown you wonderful strength of yours. Your sisters or brothers, your relatives, your friends, classmates, and your teachers in schools have shown you and revealed you your tremendous strengths. And they have shown you the weaknesses. What weakness you have? Simple weaknesses. So, as we grow younger and younger, I don't say older and older, as we grow younger and younger, take a book and write down what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. List out the strength and list out the weakness. And increase the strength and drive away the weakness. Swami Vivekananda, who gave a wonderful lecture in Chicago on 11th of September 1893, said, strength is power and weakness is death. So we have to enhance our strength You have the capacity because you are the future of the nation. You are the future of the world. Why? It was told by Swami Vivekananda, you are born with a personality. Each of us has some characteristics, and this has to be developed. And this has to be developed with consistent and sustained efforts. Of course, our parents are there, elders at home are there, mentors are there for you in school and other places, teachers are there, they will give you wonderful guidance. So let us learn from them. We should understand, my dear children, that change is always necessary. As we grow younger and younger, we get change in our body, isn't it? We change in our physical body. We change and our pattern, thought pattern changes. Emotionally also, sometimes we change. Let us accept that change. Let us be aware that change is necessary for our own good, and not in all places, in certain areas, right? So let us know ourselves. Children, you are the treasure of the world. We should have positive self-image and love yourself. Love your parents, love elders, love your teachers. Jesus Christ said, love thy nature as thyself, isn't it? By loving myself, I can love the people of the world. So let us start appreciating our own self. When we stand in front of a mirror, we have to appreciate our body, appreciate your mind. Slowly, when you grow older and older, appreciate our intellect. Okay? Let us not have negative self-image. I will tell you a small story which comes in the Mahabharata, the greatest of the Indian epic. You know what is that? There was one boy by name Vena. When he was very young, his father died in an accident, unfortunately. He was nurtured by his mother. Then the mother, with great difficulty, nurtured him. When he became 5 years a young boy, he was wandering in the garden, the mango garden, and he saw the mangoes, beautiful ripe mangoes, and took away 1 or 2 mangoes, ate it, and brought it to his mother. And the mother tasted, he ate that mango, it found very tasty. The mother asked, where did you get this? Mama, I got this in a garden. Okay, bring some more. Then the next morning he went to that. Slowly he stole and brought it. Like that, he went on getting or nurturing the habit of stealing. He started stealing many things, one by one. Slowly, he became a vassal or a leader of that group in that area. And finally, with a big group of his own type of people, he became a king of that country. Look at the plight. The king of the country has become the #1 thief of the country. He went on stealing. He started troubling the citizens. Not only that, he started troubling the hermitages, the revenues of the temples, the sages and the seers who were doing meditation in the hermitages and penance groves. It became intolerable. Finally, the sages and the seers came from the forest, universities, penance groves, and called the people to catch hold of this king. He was subjected to, court-martial. Then they gave a verdict you should be thrown into the gallows. Capital punishment should be given to you. At the time, then that King Vena said, if a capital punishment, if it is to be given, don't give it to me, give it to my mother, he said. Then the sages were surprised. The minister was surprised. Why? They asked. Then Vena said, the King Vena said, look, when I was young, I stole a mango and I brought it to my mother. The mother, instead of punishing me, appreciated and nurtured, supported me. This resulted in stealing more and more because my mother supported and there was no father for me. Then I thought this is the right thing one should do. Therefore I did this. So mother should be punished first, not me. Then the sages said, fine, but God gave you sense of discretion. God gave you intelligence. You should have exercised that intelligence. You have not done that. So you should be put into the gallows. Saying so, the citizens killed Vena, but he had married women by the time. There were 1 or 2 queens. One queen had a young boy of 5 years. He was made the next king, and then the sages ruled, suggested, they made caretaker ministers, and when this young boy became 18 years, they handed over the kingdom and went to the forest. So what do we learn by this story, my dear children, from the Mahabharata, the great epic of India? That we should not steal, we should not develop any negative attitudes and habits in our young age, which is harmful, which results in personality disorder and dysfunction. Around 20 years ago, there was a research done in National Institute of Advanced Studies in Bangalore, India, regarding youth and violence. You know what is the result? What is the result of that survey? Crime rate is very high among illiterate people and among uneducated youths. Literate and educated youths will never engage in severe crimes. Hence, we should educate ourselves first and educate the poor, the downtrodden people. Help in small ways. So, what do we understand? Let us overcome our weaknesses as we grow older and older, and stop those qualities which are unpleasant to others. Stop the bad habits. Improve good habits. Okay? So, there is a message from our Indian epics. What is that message, my dear children? Our heart should be pure. Mind may become somewhat polluted, but heart speaks the truth. So let us drive away our hatred from our heart, because hatred begets hatred. So let us drive away hatred. This hatredness of, Duryodhana, the villain of the great epic Mahabharata, towards the Pandavas, resulted in a great war of the Mahabharata, in which finally what happened? 56 million people died. So we should get rid of this hatred from our young age, and let us free our mind from worries. No, we have so many worries. I have not done my homework today. I have not completed my home assignment today. I don't know what my teacher says in the school tomorrow. What answer should I give? So we get those such worries, isn't it? Let us drive away the worries. Let us tell the truth to our parents and the teachers. They would appreciate you very well, right? Let us live happily and in a simple way. Of course, in this regard, Socrates' student Plato is a role model for us. What did he say? Simple living, high thinking. As we grow older and older, let us think big and let us live happily and in simple ways. Let us give more. Whatever the food we eat, let us share with others. That's how the G20 nations are sharing the additional, resources they have with the other have-nots all over the world. Let us share, because that is the greatest reward one can get. And our mind becomes very broad. The food we share, the clothes we share with the people, the additional dresses we have, we are going to share, the extra money we earn, that we share. That sharing and caring will help us very well. So let us not expect, having given to the people, let us not expect anything. This is too big for our young children. So anyway, I will not elaborate much. One of the Hindu tradition, the Indian tradition, says that our body consists of 5 imaginary layers or sheaths. The first layer is that of the food. The second layer is of that vital energy or our breath. The third is that of our mind. The fourth is that of our intelligence or intellect. The fifth is that of bliss. So it is possible for us to develop each one of these levels and sheath and uncover them. How do we do this? For example, we have to be very strong in our body. Oh, my dear children, let us have good eating habits. Let us not eat junk foods. Let us not eat designer foods. Let us not eat genetically modified foods. The food prepared by parents at home or others is the best food. Then it should be planned well. Whenever we are hungry, we should not eat. Plan your time of breakfast, lunch, supper, and dinner. And eat during those time only. Plan it very well. That is called the balanced diet. Have the balanced diet. Let us not overeat. That will result in indigestion and various problems. This has been told by ancient Indian medical doctors called Charaka and Sushruta. I will elaborate in the next 2 minutes. Please do adequate exercises by staying at home. Simple exercises of stretching your hands, stretching your legs, bending your body back and in the front. Simple exercise without affecting the structure of your body. And after this COVID pandemic goes away, engage in adventure activities, aero, aqua, terrestrial activities. I know that you are already doing such things. Now you are stuck to homes, but still later you can do. Some yogic postures can be done. We are at Yasvyasa Yoga University. Our chancellor and the medical director have developed some postures which can be done by sitting in chairs called chair yoga. That chair yoga will help you to relax your muscles, relax your mind. So that is how we develop our physical quotient called PQ. Next, let us develop our vital quotient. How? We have to store our energy, channelize our energy. And by doing 10 minutes of breathing exercise, you can develop that, store that energy and increase that potentiality to do better activities. And at the same time, my dear children, concentrate on your mind. Mind, you know, in the Indian tradition is called a monkey. Imagine the plight of a monkey. It won't sit in a single place. It goes on jumping from one place to another. And imagine that monkey has drunk alcohol or wine. Then a scorpion has bitten it. A demon or a goblin has entered. Look at the plight of the monkey. Same is the plight of our mind. So you have to check and control that mind, which has immense strength or potentiality. By doing simple physical exercise, simple breathing exercise, sitting in a one place and observing our mind, you can increase your outputs of the mind, enhance your strength of the mind. Alexis Carrel, the Nobel laureate in biology, said once in his famous book, Man the Unknown, what matters ultimately is whole mind working together. Now the mind is working in parts. Why the mind is working in pieces? Let us concentrate and energize that mind. It is possible. You people can do it. You know, the world famous genius who could do this because they concentrated 100% on their work. Others could concentrate 4%. So let us work on in that. This is called the VQ, the vital quotient, and the mental quotient. Be alert, have concentration, develop your memory through Brahmari, through mental exercises, through playing games, other games, various types of mental games. We can increase, right, our output of the mind. When you have done these things, later start thinking logically. My parents have told, is it right or wrong? My teacher has told, is it right or wrong? You should slowly start thinking and questioning. This questioning attitude of inquiry or questioning is the hallmark of understanding more and more, learning more and more. I will give you a simple story from the Upanishads. One boy by name Varuni went to the forest university, learned for 12 years and came back to his home. The father asked, have you learned everything? The son said, yes, father, I have learned everything. Have you really understood everything? Yes, father, I have understood. Then the father asked the question, have you understood that thing by which everything in the world is known? I repeat this question, my children. This was asked by father to the son. My dear son, Varuni, have you understood that thing or concept by which everything is known? Then the son said, no, I don't know. I have not understood. Then the father said, come on, bring a glass of water. The boy brought the glass of water. Put 1 spoon of salt into that water bottle. Stir it. The boy put the 1 tablespoon of salt, stirred it. Again, come on, put 1 more spoon of salt and stir it. He stirred it. Then he said, close that glass of water, keep it in a single place and come back tomorrow. Then the son came tomorrow morning, next day. Then the father said, my dear son, taste it. How does this taste? The son took the water from the surface and tasted and said to his father, Father, it is salty in nature. Is it so? Come on, pour half of the water out and try it again. He took and drank. How is the taste? The father asked. the son said, it is taste, it is saltish in nature. Then he said, pour out the whole thing. Take the last thing and taste it. How is it? Saltish, father. Then the father said, do you found the elements of salt or the atoms or the particles of salt in that water? Son said, no, father. But still, the whole glass is covered by salt, the quality of salt. Like that, the whole universe is covered by supreme consciousness. And that consciousness or spirit is present outside and it is present within me. This logical and rational thinking was there in the Upanishadic times, and now the time is given around 9500 BCE. So have such rational thinking. From this we move on to the spiritual thinking or the quotient. Have love and affection to your siblings. You know, the parents will have love and affection. They shower love and affection towards their siblings, towards their children. The children should love their parents. They should love their elder brothers, elder sisters, younger brothers, younger sisters, and their cousins. And when they go to schools, they should love their classmates. They should love their fellow friends, love their teachers. Because in this entire encompassing of love, everything can be understood easily. It could be that love helps us to understand things better and better. So let us have love and affection. When this love is intensified, it's called affection. From that springs compassion. Compassion, when it expands the whole universe. And that gives the way for helping the people of the world who are downtrodden, who are without homes, who are without shelter, and to such brethren we are going to help. That is what Swami Vivekananda said. I quote the words of Swami Vivekananda. Compassion is that feeling which is aroused in us when we can put ourselves in the position of a sufferer and feel it in the same way. Okay? Let us practice that during this difficult times of COVID. Then Amish Tripathi ji and Brij Kumar Moharaji said, speak something about the Ayurveda. Ayurveda is one of the oldest science of life from India, which date back to 7000 BCE. There we get the science of life. How should we be healthy? We want to be healthy, don't you think, my dear people, that we should be healthy physically, mentally, physiologically? Yeah. Then if that is so, according to the oldest medical practitioner of India, Charaka and Sushruta, who wrote the big text on medicine around 2600 years ago, say, please have balance and equilibrium of the three defects. The three defects are Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and our body consists of some constituents, physiological, metabolic constituents called dhatus, which we should follow. Have them in equilibrium. And the excretions, perspiration, urine and motion, stools should be maintained properly. We should have pleasant mind all the time. Keep the pleasant mind. And our sense organs, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the skin, and the touch, all these nostrils, these should be maintained well. We should not watch too much television, too much programs on television. What happens? Our eyes get affected. By watching too much television, by sitting in a single place and watching the TV and eating popcorn and other things, we develop at very young age obesity. One of the researchers done in the United States says that by 2020 and 21, 560 million people all over the world in the age group of 12 to 20 will be affected with obesity. This obesity later brings in diabetes, high blood pressure and whatnot, stress and whatnot. So we should avoid these things and concentrate and be happy. When we are happy in the mind, when we are happy in the body, we are happy soulfully all over, and the whole environment will be completely joyful. Therefore, my dear children, according to Charaka and Sushruta and Ayurveda, let us maintain equilibrium in our food. The food we choose should have wonderful fragrance. The color should be nice. When I see the food, I should like the color first. Then I should like the smell. Then I take a piece of it and keep it on my tongue, isn't it? This Charaka, long ago. First comes color, then comes smell, then comes the taste. So that's how our parents should prepare the food for their children. Then we are bored of these, 5 days of work. We want to go on a weekend. When you choose to go on a weekend, go for a nice place. Don't sit at home. Go on a riverside. Go for a wonderful jogging on a riverside, on the bank of a river, on the bank of a lake, or on the shores of an ocean, or in the midst of a beautiful forest. Enjoy be in the midst of nature. Whenever we are in the midst of nature, we are free from all mental worries. We are free from all diseases. And if you have a garden in front of your homes or in the backyard of your homes, spend some time. Hear the beautiful sound or the warbling of the birds, the chirping of the birds, the beauty of nature. And enjoy the silence of nature, the silence of the mountains. This is what, William Wordsworth said once. Silence of the forests and the silence of the mountains. And that we should experience, not get stuck to our homes and concentrate inwardly. So this can arrest, so it is possible for us to arrest the diseases at the mental level. One of the oldest texts on yoga called Yoga Vasistha, told by sage Vasistha to Rama, the iconic figure of India. You know what Yoga Vasistha says? All diseases, my dear children, begin in the mind. If we don't check and arrest the mind, it percolates into the body. So let us check that disease in the mind so that we are healthy physically, mentally, spiritually. So let us practice some, values, and more important, when we are staying at home, what we should do. Let us know this. Let us engage in more and more pro activities. Let us read beautiful storybooks. Let us read again Harry Potter, Tom Sawyer's Jungle Book, Arabian Nights, Aesop fables, the story of Panchatantra or Indian fables. Read the science fictions and non-fictions. Help your parents in household chores. Let us help. I would like to help my wife. Develop the indoor hobbies. So many hobbies we can do apart from watching television, is it not? Let us develop some more indoor hobbies. And as I told you, at fixed time, let us have our breakfast, lunch, supper, or dinner with our elders at home. And let us share the thoughts with our elders during supper and dinner time, because whatever all you have studied in the morning, you are going to share with your, elders. They are there to help you. Okay. So let us engage in some sort of simple physical exercises. And you are all creative people. Creativity can harness in calm and quiet environment only. This Brahmari can help you to enhance creative inputs. 5 minutes of concentrating within yourself by closing your eyes in a single place can enhance your creative inputs. And let us join in offering prayers with our elders. Prayer is a very powerful thing. Whatever the prayer may be, irrespective of religion, let us spend some time in prayers together. And let us take advice from our parents, elders, when we have problems. As they are ever ready to help us, we should look for our parents for guidance and suggestions. What is the ultimate thing in this COVID-19 crisis? In this time, the entire purpose is to stay together in the family, love ourselves and love inmates of the family. Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji of India has given a call to each one of us all over the world that this year the Indian International Day of Yoga will be practiced by staying with home, staying with our family, and yoga with family and yoga in homes. So the Honorable Prime Minister was responsible for ushering the International Day of Yoga in 2014, and we have stepped into the 6th year, and last year more than 190 nations, irrespective of nation and gender barriers, participated, and 30 crore people participated all over the world. So let us stay united in these moments of crisis. So our education should lead us to what? The manifestation of divinity which is present in man, in us, as told by Swami Vivekananda. I am an admirer of Francis Bacon. What he says during this time: start reading books. Some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. That means what? According to Francis Bacon, the greatest thinker. Some books are to be read only in parts. For example, War and Peace. 5 volumes we can't read in one day. Read in parts. Others, or History of World Civilization by Will Durant. We can't study in one day. Read in parts. Others to be read, but not curiously. For example, fiction or storybooks. Not be so serious about it. And some to be read wholly with diligence and action. So Francis Bacon has given the call to us. We should love history. Histories make man wise so that we don't make such mistakes again. Make us witty. The mathematics subtle, philosophy deep, moral grave, logic and rhetoric able to contend. So let us study history. Let us read beautiful poems and anthology of poems and learn little mathematics and be in amidst nature. That will give us lot of strength to be with our family, with our own self, and be joyful. This is what the message from our S. Vyasa Yoga University for you all, from the only university meant for yoga, and I'm sure we get connected. This time we get connected through webinar, we get connected through Facebook, and we get connected through the mind and through great feelings with our members of the family, with our members of our community, with the nations and the world at large. Thank you very much. I offer my grateful thanks to Amish Tripathi ji, to the Honorable Director of the Nehru Center, Brij Kumar Guhare ji, the Honorable Deputy Director of the Nehru Center, the High Commission in India at UK, to all the participants, and to our most beautiful young creative children and their parents and mentors for giving us this rare and a singular opportunity to share some of my thoughts. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Dhanyavad. Let us open up for a few minutes for any questions, or questions or answers, or any clarifications to have. Namaste. Dhanyavad.
Thank you very much, Professor M.K. Sridhar. This is such a wonderful talk and paper presentation by you today for the children especially, but I hope children must have understood a small part out of it. But the earnest request, because this special event was organized by the Nehru Center High Commission of India for the children, if you could guide the children to do some asanas, basic asanas into day-to-day life. So your enlightenment, guidance in this direction would be appreciated. So please guide some asanas for the children. They could really, opt as an exercise in their life. Thank you.
Thank you. I think next 5 minutes, let us work on these asanas. Okay, my dear children, sit comfortably in the place you are. Please sit down in those places where you are. Be relaxed first. Be relaxed. Turn off your mobiles. Turn off your, other, digital instrument except this program. Okay? Sit down comfortably, sit down, and then close your eyes. Please close your eyes. Observe your mind. Now, slowly inhale. Slowly inhale. Close your eyes. Slowly inhale. And slowly exhale the breath. Let us do it once again. Slowly inhale. Slowly exhale. Slowly inhale. Slowly exhale. Observe your mind. Observe your mind and see from closing your eyes, watch from your toes to head, how you are feeling. What is the feeling you have? Just observe. Observe the feeling. Observe the silence. Observe your organs from head to toe. I think, would you think there is some little sensation there? And you are feeling some amount of equilibrium? Don't you think so? Now, observe your mind by closing your eyes between your eyebrows. Between your eyebrows. Slowly, slowly. Observe the mind, how it is behaving. You will observe that there is calmness, there is quietness. The mind is not disturbed. The mind is not agitated. It is calm and quiet. Be in that state for 5 seconds. Then closing your eyes, take your both the hands, stretch your index finger and bring it near your ears. Insert, not forcefully but casually, slowly and gently. Close, insert your index finger and now start murmuring like slowly inhale. As you inhale, then slowly exhale. With that, you start the murmuring sound. Slowly inhale. Take out the hands, keep it on your thighs and observe your mind. How it is being calm, quiet in nature. Observe how there is calmness and tranquility around you. Then slowly rub keeping your eyes closed, slowly rub your palms. Slowly rub till a little heat comes to your palms. Little heat gets generated. Then after that, make each of the hand or the palms as a cup and close your eyes. Right palm with the right eye, then the left palm with the left eye. Or you can do in a longitudinal, horizontal way also, or this way. After that, slowly remove the hand in your presence. Open your eyes and see your palms first. Then, after doing that, you are seeing only your palms. You have opened your eyes and slowly stretch your palms and see the world. See in your friend. Oh, how do you feel, my children? This is the technique developed by our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. H.R. Nagendra ji, to enhance your memory, to enhance your creative energy, thinking. This can be done, for example, thrice a day, not more than 5 minutes. You can recite this humming of the bee either 5 times or 7 or 9 times. When you practice more and more, 27 times. And sit in the same place. Don't change places every day. That will give you tremendous power of the mind. It enhances your mental energies. What you were doing earlier with 1 hour, my dear kids, you can do in 15 minutes. This is the experiments we have done in our Anveshana under the guidance of our Director of Research, Manjunath Sharma, Dr. Manjunath Sharma. The results are there. So let us practice that. In the same way, sit in the chair, sit back and relax, sit back and relax, and Can you demonstrate something? So the thing is, here now we are stuck to the place and not much place in the webinar. So the problem is sometimes, some other time we can demonstrate. But one thing, please understand, my dear children, whenever, for example, bring your palms in Namaskara Mudra, okay? Whenever we do asanas or postures, let us say, now I am going to stretch my palms and the arms upward, then I have to inhale. Then we can bring it down or bring it to the sides and exhale. So like this, you can sit in the place and do it, or stand in a single place and do it. These are some of the things you can do it. What we can ask our Honorable Brij Kumar Guhreji is that sometime we can ask them, we will ask our yoga instructor to demonstrate so that these people can join and we will have a wider place to show. Now we are stuck to the table, stuck to the webinar, so not much can be done. I can only tell you some breathing exercises which we have already done. Slow breathe by closing the eyes, sit down, inhale, exhale. That you can do it for 5 minutes. Then stretch your arms either sideways or upwards, and then inhale and exhale. Once these things are done, we can do that Brahmari.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I think we are having short of time. Thank you so much and for your valuable guidance to the children and the students. I firmly believe the practice of asanas, aligns body, mind, and intelligence together. So in this direction, and I would like to request you, if in the near future you could really share with us some of the postures that can be shared with the students and lovely children, and that would be useful into their day-to-day life. This would be another asset and cooperation at your end. And you have already, mentioned about in your beautiful lecture, physical, vital, mental, intellectual, and spiritual. These are the 5 paths that I think everybody could attain through asanas, and asanas really lead to this spirituality. And once it is start, once we are, as you rightly said, if you are physically strong, then you could attain vital. If you are really vital, then you could attain mental power. Then you could, once you are able to attain mental power, then you could lead to the intellectual proceedings, and thereafter the spiritual. It is beautifully, narrated by you and your lecture. We are really thankful on behalf of the High Commission of India, Nehru Center, Ministry of Ayush, and of course the Indian Council for Cultural Relations. Pay my sincere thanks to you, your valuable time and beautiful lecture. I also, on behalf of Director, Mr. Amish Tripathi, who could not speak much, everybody knows Mr. Tripathi by profession is an eminent author and comes under the post list of 50 as powerful men, and we are so fortunate having here joining us today. And I also pay my special thanks to the Acting High Commissioner, Mr. Charanjit Singh, as a backbone for these events. Minister called Mr. Manmeet Singh, Head of Chancery, Ms. Yamuna, Councillor Tad, and of course Mr. Sitanshu Chaurasia, who is the Second Secretary. And all my colleagues who have joined, Mr. Sandeep, who is the technical director here. In fact, he is supporting all technically and giving this event a beautiful kind of shape. I am spend special thanks to Ms. Helen Harper, Armima Kumar, Indu Barot, and some of my lovely students, joined from various schools, institutions, and other. And tomorrow we will be having another lecture by Ms. Natasha Pratap, eminent yoga, expert from Mumbai. And this special lecture being organized by the Nehru Center and the High Commission of India to pay a tribute to the NHS workers, National Health Scheme workers of UK, I think. And my understood is everybody who is interested may join us tomorrow. This is a series of events under the celebration of 6th International Yoga Day on 21st. Thereafter, there are a lot of events we have organized for the people. Thank you very much for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Namaskar. Namaskar. Thank you. Thank you.
I offer my grateful thanks to our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. H.R. Nagendra Ji, the Honorable Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor, Dr. B.R. Ramakrishna, and to our Medical Director, Dr. R. Nagaratna, our Deputy Director, Mr. Natesh Babu, and to all those brethren who have helped us in making this lecture a wonderful one. I want to Amish Tripathi Ji, and also to the High Commission in London, and to you, Brij Kumar Muhareji, and also I've already shared my email with you. I would like to, invite questions. They can be posted at leisure. I'm going to answer each one of them through email, and also where we will end up with Shanti Mantra. Please join your hands, palms. सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Dhanyavad.
धन्यवाद.
Thank you very much, dear listeners who have joined. I would like to pay my special thanks to our viewers, listeners. Thank you very much. Looking forward to all of you in our near programs. Thank you for the forthcoming. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद.
Bye.